Plenty Valley FM presents Sig's Flicks.
Yep, it's Sunday. It's time to catch up with Sig. Good morning, Sig.
Yes, good morning, Thurston. And as I say every week, there's so many films, so little time.
Yeah, I know, mate. That's why you get 15 minutes every week, so you can tell us all about it.
About 15 minutes of a continuing fame.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. We got a range of films going from New York City to South Korea right through to working class London.
Lovely.
And let's start with London. We've got a new film which may have escaped you guys' attention. It's called Scrapper, and it starts this Thursday. So you'll be able to check it out from then if you want to go down and see it from the information I give you now. May encourage you, may not. We'll see. But we have an interesting film here from first-time director and writer Charlotte Reagan, and she's done a good job on this one because she won the dramatic film competition at Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival this year. So she wrote and directed this film, and it's an intriguing story of a plucky young 12-year-old girl, Georgie, played quite well by first-time actor Lola Campbell, and she's living alone in a flat in outskirts of Melbourne, pretty working-class, desolate area after her mother died. And it's been a little while, and she's on her own, and she's sort of becoming very resourceful, and she actually steals bikes to get the food money, and she's got a nice little line-up patter as a scammer, a developed young scammer, young girl, about how she's managed to handle those bikes when the actual bike's owners appear. And that's an interesting line in the film. But she does quite well, and she's actually stealing these bikes with a friend of hers, and they hang out a bit, and they watch TV, and she seems to have a pretty good life, and she's getting on quite well. No worries, thanks very much. And then after a while, a 30-year-old man appears, and he says, "Well, hello, how are you going? And who are you?" She says, "What do you want?" Well, it appears to be her father, and she hasn't seen him in so long. They've been estranged for a while. She doesn't even recognize him. And he had her quite young with the mother, who's, of course, no longer there. And this is a bit difficult for young Georgie because she's doing quite well on her own, and who's this guy and his father? She sort of sizes him up as not very worthwhile. You know, he hasn't been there a long time. He's a bit messy. He's a 30-year-old teenager virtually, and a little bit irresponsible and can't cook a thing. So, you know, what use is he for her? So this film is a bit of an organization between the two of them. They sort of dance around each other and get very, very slowly, gradually work into each other's lives. Over only 84 minutes, less than 90 minutes, it goes through the development of these people, and it shows how they sort of become a little bit more together and sort of work out their difficulties and their connections as they go. I mean, this young girl hasn't had a father in a long time, and is now without her mother. So working through things, it gets pretty interesting. And the way you can see the way things go with this, and it's a very good photography, pretty bleak London, so getting around a few things. And there's a nice little flat she's got, and that's it. It's pretty basic, and so she should go around the streets trying to find these bikes. And this slacker dad comes in. What's he want? Where's he going? And what's happening there? So you might want to check this one out. Once again, it's called Scrapper, and it's quite a good film, and I would recommend it. And excuse me. And it's starting this Thursday, and you can see it then. So yeah, once again, recommended.
Yeah, great. Sig recommends. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, now, next one, let's get over to another film. This one has been causing a lot of interest It's called Past Lives, and many people have sung its praises, and I went to see it myself to see what all the noise was about. And after screening at MIF Melbourne Film Festival, which I unfortunately missed it there, I was able to pick it up. And this one is an intriguing story, also from first-time film director and writer Celine Song. And this film takes place over 24 years. And what we have here is an incredible opening scene, okay? If you can picture an Asian man, an Asian woman in their 30s, and a Caucasian man. And they're at a bar having a conversation, observed from across the bar by another couple. You know, you go to a bar, you go out with people, and you're with someone, you look across and you wonder, I wonder what the stories with those two. I wonder what they look like. Are they on the first date? Are they bickering? They've been married for ages? You go across and you sort of speculate about people and their backgrounds. And sometimes people do that. And the opening scene is like that. You know, the whole opening scene, it takes a little while to work it out. The dialogue is the people across the bar speculating about these three. We got an Asian woman, an Asian man in conversation, and a little bit seemingly out of it, Caucasian man, and the three of them, what's their backstory? Well, the film goes about of this backstory. So now we're going 24 years before this. 24 years, okay? We got in Seoul, South Korea, we got two 12-year-olds, and they are school friends and rivals, and she's a bit upset that the boy is a beater at a class assignment, and she expected to get it, and she's a bit upset by that, and he teases her about it, but they are clearly pretty good friends, and they sort of hang around a bit together as 12-year-olds, you know, and they're pretty good. And many of the scenes early in there sort of show how they hang out a bit and sort of muck around, and they're only 12, you know, so it's a good relationship. But her parents actually decide to move to Canada, and she's off the scene very shortly. And it's a very touching scene when they part. And it's pretty low-key and sort of laid back and reserved South Korean fashion, and it's a very touching scene, and its sparseness in this one, and the photography there is quite good, just showing the two, the way they go. And then the next we see is 12 years later, 12 years, another 24, and the young girl now goes by the name of Nora in America. She's in New York, and she's studying to be a writer, and she decides to look around and find her old friends, and she discovers this childhood crush she had on him, and apparently he's been looking for her online, and that's interesting. So they just start a situation where they have a few chats by video phone, and they don't meet, but they sort of get to know each other and sort of reconnect a little bit, but they don't actually meet. And then she decides when she gets into a school that they might take a little bit of a break. You know, she's going to get into her New York life and her new Western influences, and she wants to go from there. So then he is a bit reluctant because he clearly really likes her, but he sort of accedes to what she says. Just a little break, see how we go. Not long, just a little break. Well, 12 years later. Now, 24 years since the first scene. You know, they're 36-year-olds now, and they again have a chance to reconnect. And this time, they do meet. He comes across. He comes across to New York, and from there, I'm not going to say too much about what happens, but in the meantime, in the previous ensuing 12 years, she meets and marries a local American fellow writer. And this gets back to that early scene, very beginning scene, where you have the Asian woman, the Asian man, and the Western man in the bar being speculated by the people across the bar about their relationship. So this is quite an intriguing story. Fantastic photography. There's one couple of scenes that have very slow pans between the two talking. And most of the time it's the camera's between them, and the pan goes across to the woman's face, and it very, very slowly crosses a man's face as they're having discussions. It's very subdued, and it sort of follows the slowness of the development. So there's some very good acting showing very understated emotions from these people, and it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot of this film is influenced by Inyon, which is a Korean philosophy talking about relationships and fates of people that are pretty well connected by past lives. That's where the title came from. So many interesting things there. Quite a good film. I'd recommend that film. As you know, I don't give stars that I can tell.
No, you don't. Yeah, you only give if you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. I think you will too, and I recommend that film to see. It's slow moving, and it's quite an intriguing love story. And I'm not going to say how it ends, of course. You have to see the film to see what develops from there. Will they get together? Will they not? I'll not tell them.
Yeah.
Past Lives, and once again, the earlier one I talked about the young girls called Scrapper. Now, just a few minutes left. A couple of films I might want to recommend to you that you might want to see. We have a screening now, Force of Nature, which is a sequel. We have from the Dry book, wonderful book by Jane Harper, Australian book, directed by Robert Connolly. That's Eric Bana's back, looking about how a man has disappeared in the bush and how they find out what happened. So you check that one out.
Yeah, when does that go? When's that on?
Excuse me?
When's that gone to the cinema? Is it on now?
Yes, it's on right now.
Oh, right.
It's, in cinemas, so you can check that out. It's a sequel to The Dry, so
Yeah.
you might want to see it. I've mentioned this a few times. You might want to see this once again. Ego, the Michael Gudinski story, is on now in cinemas. That's a great little story, film about, of course, Michael Gudinski and his 5 decades of hustling and getting around, putting on concerts and managing a lot of Australians' best musicians over 5 decades. So you want to check that one out. So
Great, there's 2 good films there.
A couple of films, many you want to see.
No, that's great, Sig. Thanks for that. That's a really good range of variety there. You have a good weekend, and we'll catch up with you again next time.
You certainly will, and same to you, Thurston.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Sig with Sig's Flicks.